Good day, everyone. My name is Ubaglo, and with me this time is.
Mechalomaniac. Hi.
You might remember my friend Mechalomaniac from the Uncharted video series that I did a little bit ago. Um, I decided to see if he wanted to join me and play some Star Trek Online, and he graciously accepted.
Yep, I've played this before, so yeah.
And a lot
It's
of these
unlike Uncharted
missions.
where I'm just kind of going, what?
And a lot of these missions will go faster with two people. Although they also do scale the missions a little bit to coincide with the number of people and their levels.
Hmm.
Before I start this week's mission, I'm going to reveal a new ship, which is the Tier 1 Blockade Runner Escort, also known as the Steam Runner. This ship is part of the Steam starter pack that you can buy through, surprise, surprise, Steam. And while some people may think that it is a kind of a non-canon name that just happens to reference Steam, there is in fact actually a Steam Runner class in Star Trek.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's one of the ships that was in First Contact at the beginning in that huge fleet battle that ate up pretty much the whole budget of the movie.
I would have to look and confirm, which I'm going to end up doing.
Yeah,
All right,
I
so
want to say that's one of them. I know the Akira is, but
yeah, and while the name of the ship isn't a terrible non-canon knockoff, the ship actually comes with an ability that is though. So, um, but the Steam Runner also has an interesting thing in that it is actually straight up better than all of the other ships of the Tier 1 class because it has, first off, some slightly better base stats than all the rest, but at the same time, it also has an extra slot for bridge officers as opposed to every other Tier 1 ship, which only has 3. The Steam Runner comes with 4 slots, 2 for tactical, 1 for science, and 1 for engineering.
hmm.
Yeah, it's
So
kind of a weird one because Cryptic is usually pretty good at making all of their ships relatively equal at each level.
yeah,
There are some ones that are obviously better for one reason or another, but it is actually kind of strange that they made this one at tier 1 straight up better than all the other ones. And it's not even like there's any difference in how you get this ship. Um, I mean, yes, you have to buy it through Steam, but it's not like that's really a hassle.
yeah. Well, I know you get start getting multiple bridge slots or extra bridge slots at later ranks, so maybe
Yeah,
they're just
yeah,
given to you
right.
early.
Yeah, the way they handle it tends to be that each tier of ships is balanced around a certain number of bridge officer abilities, and then those bridge officer abilities are spread out over the various ranks and
Hmm.
slots. Like there's one most of the once you get to the maximum rank, most of the ships have 5 bridge officer slots, but there's one ship that only has 4, and as a result, the 4 have are more equal in their rank as opposed to most other ships where the
Right.
fifth one is only a whatever the lowest rank is, so there's only one ability.
Ensign, I believe.
Yeah.
I might be wrong.
Yeah, it's ensign.
Okay.
Yeah. So the um, yeah. So as a result, the this one ship, since it only has 4 slots, period, it doesn't have an ensign slot, and that one ability is moved to another slot in order
Hmm.
to make that one slightly better. In fact, since the ship I have requires a tactical um, uh, person that I actually don't really have room for, I'll just.
Yes, another question
unlock.
too is because
Yeah,
you've
still
got the
unlock a
extra
few more.
slot on the ship, but you might not necessarily have the actual officer to get.
I
Or you
at the
might,
moment,
but
yeah. If I didn't have a bunch of bonus characters
yeah.
from various things like the starter packs and
Mhm.
events that I've completed, I wouldn't have. I could possibly have a second tactical bridge officer at this point.
Mhm.
Um, so this is just another person for now, at least. They both have torpedo high yield. I should probably change that before we start today's mission.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think those kind of things share cooldown.
They do. There is a category cooldown between abilities of the same type, but I
Yeah.
think because these are literally the same ability, if I use them both, it would put them both on the same cooldown. Um, I probably mentioned this guy while I was doing the tour of Earth Space Dock before, but there's two ways that you can change the skills on a bridge officer. The first is that we have this fellow here who does direct bridge officer training, which will allow you to replace abilities on bridge officers with others from a fairly limited list, um, which is pretty much all of them, except there's some um, high tier ones that he doesn't have. The other way is that as you purchase skills on your captain, you will unlock the ability to train your bridge officers in ones at yourself. Um, the problem with that, though, is that almost all of these ones will be at the commander or lieutenant commander rank for your bridge officers, which means that it is fully possible for you to be able to train one of your bridge officers on an ability at level 5 that you won't be able to use until level 40.
Yeah.
And it has been like this since the game came out. So,
Well, hopefully
so
they. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing if you're like super forward thinking, but
yeah, but I mean, you could also
yeah,
get it at level 5 and then you don't even need to worry about it until you get to max level.
yeah,
Um, One thing to be careful about if you do retrain one of your bridge officer's abilities is that it deletes all the skill points that you may have invested in that ability. So if you aren't flooded in bridge officer skill points, you might want to make sure that you are replacing an ability before you are sinking points into it.
mm-hmm. First thinking
Once you reach
about
the end
that,
of the game, though, once you reach the end of the game, you get a shit ton of bridge officer skill points because one thing that's actually kind of nice is that once you reach max level, any XP that you would have earned gets converted into bridge officer skill points instead.
That's very handy.
Yep.
Let's say I just threw a bunch of points into one of my officers, but I'm keen. It's emergency power to shield, so I will.
Oh yeah, that is a very important one.
Yeah.
All right. So okay. Yep. There you are.
There I.
All right. Yep.
Where
Yeah.
are you?
I warped out a little bit further away.
Oh, I see. Follow.
Okay. Yep. So you can tell the folks that are in your party because they have the nice white border and text instead of the blue border and text like everyone else.
Mm-hmm. This is my. I don't know if you can see me, but my
Yeah, I've
tweak
got
out
you in the
light cruiser.
yeah, I've got you in the camera. Uh, I didn't have an opportunity to really go over the ship customization in a whole lot of detail, especially in the manner that Mecha has done here.
Yeah.
One thing that's really nice with most of the ship chassis in Star Trek Online, the last few that I have actually made use of are fixed to one design due to the way that they are set up. But one thing that's nice about most of the ship chassis in Star Trek Online is that you can modify every single hard point, so to speak, with pieces from every other ship in that category, including some ones you can purchase from the cash shop, as long as they are within the same category.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like mine is vaguely like the stock light cruiser, which I think is called is based on the Miranda class.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can I changed the nacelles to add, to be less original series movies and more like Star Trek, Next Generation ish. Actually, it's even Next Generation. This is, I think, just one of the games thing.
Yeah, a lot of the alternate models were made by Cryptic, but a fair number of them are or are heavily influenced by canon ship designs.
Yeah. Yeah, everything in here looks like it should be in Star Trek.
Yeah, they've done a very good job in even the ships that are entirely new by Cryptic. They've done a very good job in making them look like they belong.
I say all the Federations. I honestly have not seen all of the Klingon ships, but the ones you fight at least are very reminiscent of the classic Klingon designs.
Yeah, the Klingon ones look very good as well. I should probably finish rearranging my powers here as well. Okay, so this week we are going to be picking up Hide and Seek, which is the next story mission after the one that we did the 2 weeks ago. Basically, after we found the wreckage of the Undine ship, Starfleet Intelligence has been working on that, and they've sent us to a place that they think has some information about what was going on. This mission, I don't think, has actually been updated like the previous ones. So this mission has not actually been remastered like the first two that we've completed.
I'll just make this easy and follow you.
Yeah, or you can just go to the map and click on the Lackey system. Yeah. As we slowly travel through the solar system.
Space. It's black and quiet.
Yeah. It is much more black than it was when the game first came out. I don't know if you played it at that time.
No, I didn't. I didn't start till it went when it first went free to play.
Yeah. By that point, they had changed Sector Space to look like this. The original one was way cartoony. It looked nice in a way, but yeah, it was really cartoony.
Like Star Trek the Animated Series cartoony?
Like more so. I could probably find screenshots of it somewhere to show you later.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there's later abilities that let you just move faster generally. I would kind of wish those actually I've seen their parts.
Yeah, there is the skill that increases your warp and impulse speed up to the normal limit, and then you need to have a special drive to go faster than that.
Oh, there it is.
A driver coil?
Yes.
Yeah.
Guess what? I just put points in.
So driver coil doesn't have a big effect at this level, but it does affect things later on.
Yeah.
Especially once you get the special engines at max level that lets you break the normal warp limit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you've picked up Hide and Seek?
Yep.
All right, so I'm entering the Lackey system.
As am I.
And hopefully this should warp us in to the same instance. Yeah, so you can tell Oh, yep, there you are. Okay, excellent. Yeah, so you
Yay.
can tell that this was not a remastered episode because it didn't have the nice episode name up in the corner as we warped in. So, here we are enter in this asteroid field, and it seems like the fellow we're here to meet is under attack by the Gorn. We should probably save him.
Probably. I don't know. I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, probably. NPCs are usually kind of invincible. There are only a few missions in the entire game where an NPC could potentially die.
Which is nice.
Yeah. Even though the ship we're here to save is all on fire and smoking and looks pretty beat up, yeah, it's fine.
Well, it's like Star Trek. Ships only blow up when the plot demands it.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny because there are missions where, in fact, this is one right now. He actually has 0 hit points. So go figure.
So now we have to gather
some dilithium crystals from around here. Okay, so these guys apparently found an illegal Gorn mining operation, so that's why they were beset upon.
Damn lizard men.
Now, what a bunch of jerks.
I believe
So now,
I found some.
Yeah, so all of these very obvious foggy platforms have some crystals on them. And thankfully, something that's very nice about group missions in this game is that only one person needs to get any individual thing. So because Mecha gathered the crystals from this platform, it already counts towards our goal.
And there are, of course, more Gorn hanging around.
Yeah. Yeah, the frigate class of enemies will basically be the grunts of all enemy forces once we get to higher levels. Like, basically the way the game handles enemies once you reach like level 10 basically ends up being that any one other ship is worth 3 frigates. So if a scene would have you defeat a enemy ship, you will usually be shooting down 3 frigates if any of them are deploying.
Yeah. Though I can't speak for any other type of ship, but my escort, I take them down pretty quickly, so...
Yeah, they go down pretty quickly with my cruiser. Probably not as quickly as with an escort, but they definitely don't last very long.
Yeah.
Because the problem with them being dangerous in numbers is that as soon as you destroy one of them, they aren't dangerous anymore.
Yep, pretty much.
As well, because they are designed to be in groups of 3, they usually don't have like any sort of real abilities. They just tend to be a bunch of weapons platforms. One thing that Star Trek Online is a little inconsistent about is the ability of interacting with various stuff while you're engaged in combat is not always obvious. Sometimes it will let you do things like beam... Where'd you go?
I was flying close to the... Yeah, I'm really glad this game doesn't have collision right now. I don't know if you could see me.
Yeah, you just sort of clipped into the base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm used to flying escorts, which are far better at turning quickly.
Yeah. So you've said you've been planning on flying cruisers, which that's going to take a little bit of getting used to if you've been flying escorts most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a science character, but I'm going with cruisers for ships on account of the fact that science vessels are ugly as sin.
Oh, they are so bad. Uh, there are very few science ships that look good at all.
Yeah, like the tier 4 one is the Intrepid class, which is Voyager from that show, so that's okay looking, but
Yeah,
I think the rank
I
2
like the
one's
look of it.
the Oberth, which was in Star Trek 3. So,
Oh, uh,
yeah, it's
so
not very.
if that's the model I'm thinking of, I don't like how that one looks either. But
No.
at least at least it is better looking than most of the other ones.
Yeah. I
Like
think
there
there's
are
one
some.
that's just like a got like a glowing blue sphere with some stuff around it.
Yeah, the tier 2 science ships all look so bad because they are just golf balls on sticks. Oh, they are so
Yeah.
bad. These ships actually might have been changed, but that's more because some time ago, Cryptic released a set of Gorn ships for the Klingon side
Mm.
for players to fly, and as a result, they went and redesigned a few of the NPC ships to match the ones that they designed for the player side. So I don't remember offhand if these ships are different or if these are the same ones that were in the original mission. But if they were changed, they weren't changed because of the like they didn't change them because they redid the mission. They just changed it because their back end stuff
Yeah.
would have pulled from that database. So if on the back end they changed, you know, generic Gorn cruiser to be this Tuatara cruiser, then you know they wouldn't have needed to do anything to any mission that used them. Just two low-level guys
Yep.
taking out cruisers.
As this part's kind of slow going, though they're not I don't know about you, but they're not hurting me at all.
Oh yeah, they are not really dangerous. Not at this level. And not really on this difficulty either, because we're set to normal.
Yeah.
Right, so you know, these guys will just do some basic repairs on their drive and head back to base while
Yep.
we go and investigate what they were here for.
Lackey 3. Because when in doubt, just name the planets after the system and add numbers.
That's right. Oh, and this time it's decalithium that we need to go and pick up, because they
There we go.
yeah. So let's see, dude. Oh yeah, they haven't actually mentioned why we need the decalithium. But yeah, right now we're basically just going to go and confiscate some ill-gotten goods.
Well, dilithium is 2 and trilithium is 3, so decalithium is clearly 10.
Yeah. It is 10 times as good.
Yes. There's a frigate. Get my torpedoes off early.
Yeah, there is technically a skill to using the torpedoes, because you technically want to shoot them while the enemy shields are down. But
Yeah.
at the same time, they still do a lot of damage to the enemy's shields.
Well,
even if
plus,
they,
basically, if I fire it off at max range, once I get their shields down, it'll be the cooldown will have gone off, so I can just fire them again.
yeah.
Though honestly, on my escort, I basically just take nothing but phaser cannons and just use those to punch through everything.
Yeah, if you're doing well, I mean, if you're in an escort, you can make use of you can still make use of torpedoes because you're still going to be flying directly at things.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, yeah, it's pretty much a better idea to be taking. If your energy reserves can handle it, it is pretty much better to be using all cannons on your floor. But it does depend on the ship. Not all escorts actually handle the strafing run
True.
the style that well. Although pretty much most of them do.
Yeah, with this I seem to be I tend to be more like broadsiding basically.
Yeah, I
Try to get
the light cruiser acts as a little bit of all three types, but for the most part it is still a cruiser, so you will be doing more broadsiding until you reach level 10.
Yeah. It's a good starting ship though.
Oh yeah, it is a very good starting ship. It is very good at teaching people the various ways to play. So basically, when we tried to beam the decalithium crystals, there was a jamming field around it. So we just went and blew up their the jamming field. Instead of actually shooting it with phasers, we decided to beam a bomb onto the station instead.
Makes sense to me.
I don't know. Yeah, something to do. And it's definitely not because they couldn't have made us target structures, because this same mission will have us shooting at a structure, as I remember correctly. But if not this one, then one not too far from now.
Slow down, let him pass by me.
There goes the torpedo.
Yep.
Now that we've destroyed the jamming field, we can take the decalithium and then use this to enter a nebula.
Which means we now get to warp to a nebula. It's nice how they just have the destination just kind of instantly pop up.
Well, now you got to look for some suspicious objects.
I think that the frigates that I can see on my sensors might be a bit suspicious.
Just a little on the suspicious side.
Just a smidge.
Just a tad.
I think I saw one of the captains doing drugs.
Yep. Those sneaky lizards.
I'm going to be very disappointed if I don't get to fist fight one of them in near a bunch of rocks at the end of this.
Unfortunately, that's not this mission.
Yeah, if I recall, this one's entirely in space.
No, there is a ground portion, but I think it is against Klingons, not against Gorn. Although there might be a few Gorn in there. But there is basically a mission later on that is a almost perfect reenactment of that famous scene from the original series.
Where Kirk fights the Gorn at Vasquez Rocks.
Yeah.
I mean, on the desert of an alien planet.
So folks that are watching this will have noticed that I picked up some accolades. Basically, the game does have its own form of achievements. For the most part, they are just there as niceties, but a few of them actually do give benefits. Like once you reach the cap of dealing phaser damage, you actually get a permanent buff that increases all the phaser damage you do. Likewise, once you get the various other forms of energy and damage have similar bonuses
Yeah.
as well. And there's ones for taking various damage, and those ones also give you a permanent buff to reduce the amount of damage you take from that energy type. But it's very tiny amounts. Like it's like plus 5% on any one of them.
Yeah, it's kind of like getting some of the achievements in, I want to say, the first Mass Effect did similar things where get this achievement
yes.
to use like biotic powers, you would then get a bonus to biotic powers or something like that.
Yeah, there's similar things. Yeah.
Which I
On
think
one
is
hand,
always nice.
it is. Yeah, on one hand, it is really nice that it incentivizes you to do these to get these achievements. At the same time, though, it can be a little annoying because, especially with some of them, it can be a little difficult, and it, in some cases, will have people do things they probably shouldn't be doing. I know that in Lord of the Rings Online, they have a set of achievements for reaching certain levels without being defeated, and while people keep crying out for these achievements only go up to about level 20 out of the level cap of 60, and while people will keep crying for higher levels of them to be added, Turbine has come out and said they they have seen people do weird things in order to get and keep these achievements.
Yeah.
And it is not good for the health of the game. So they are like, no way.
No, that's a bit excessive if you ask me.
Oh yeah, it is.
60.
It is a little excessive because they like even getting to level 20, they were finding that players were doing things like avoiding groups and doing content in really weird and self-destructive ways, and in general, we're also getting really upset if they get defeated for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So it was definitely not good.
It shows intelligent achievement slash accolade slash whatever Lord of the Rings Online decides to call them design.
Yeah.
To not
Yeah.
do that.
It was very good on Turbine's end to know what their limits were and to not go past it. Because even the level amount of it that they have is probably too much, but at least it's not too bad.
Yeah.
So this cruiser here I'm fighting ended up getting stuck in this derelict. So even though I could totally see him, the game was thinking it was somewhere inaccessible, and I didn't have line of sight. So it wasn't able to let me shoot at it.
Oops.
Because whatever game.
It's a computer. It's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, the game gets stuck on geometry kind of often, which is a little hilarious sometimes.
Actually, that's a question. With item drops, is it just whoever grabs it first, or does the game assign?
It is actually assigned loot.
Okay.
You can, if you're in a group, you will notice that loot that is set for you will be gold tinged.
Okay.
And loot that isn't will be grade.
Yes, I haven't done too much grouping in this, so I never really noticed.
Yeah,
but
most
grabbing up everything.
Yeah, if it's letting you grab it, then you are allowed to grab it. It is for you. Oh, so this is actually highlighting a change that I forgot they made. So not that long ago, there was a patch where they changed mines to not be immediately targetable. They would only be targeted once they actually started attacking you, or at least they would not highlight on the screen. So you'd be flying towards this asteroid, and your screen would be absolutely filled with target reticles because this place is mined.
See, what's funny is I can't see the mines right. It might just be because you've destroyed
them.
them.
I'm just flying around shooting them. automatically because my phasers are auto-targeting when they attack.
Huh.
But anyway, because okay, you're taking a tactical and an engineer.
Am I?
It sure looks like
Sure.
you are. I'll.
I can
take,
drop one if you want. I don't really
No, it's all right.
care.
It's just more that I needed to make sure that I was taking someone complimentary if you're gonna be taking those two.
Yeah, because I myself am a science, so I have healing.
I forgot to change my science bridge officer's ability to be healing while I was at the trainer. So oops.
So yes, now you can actually see me.
Yep.
I am a pack lid. I make things go.
Yep. There you go. Yeah, you're not looking all that happy either.
Yeah, that's just how they tend to look.
Yeah, pretty much.
Actually,
They're a little.
no, that's not it.
Yeah, they're always a little depressed because they have a hard time expressing themselves.
Yeah, we make things go. No, actually, here's a question: how do I get it so my just say, because I know I've done this before. How do I get it so my uniform shows?
Oh, yeah. So go into your paper doll, and right next to body, there's that little box.
There we go. There's my normal outfit.
Yeah. Yeah, I should do that with my bridge officers, but I haven't actually changed what they look like yet, so I haven't set anything good for them.
Yeah.
Look, there's some Klingons here.
Klingons, you say?
You should probably get rid of them.
They're not so tough.
So you can see how this one here. You probably see this one here has a bar over it.
Yeah.
And this one here doesn't.
Right.
Because that one's for you.
My loot.
Yeah, basically the way the game works is it will round robin loot as they drop, except for ones of higher rarities.
Yeah, then
so
we
if like
get the old need greed rolling scheme.
Yeah, so people who have seen the videos will have noticed that this isn't the first ground mission I've done. But one thing that is really nice when the AI is actually working right, is that when you're in ground missions, you do have a full away team of 5 folks, even if you aren't partied with dudes. So it does help quite a lot with some of these encounters, especially when you set up a full team, with your DPS, your healers, and your tanks, or tank likes, because Star Trek Online doesn't really do tanking that well. And something that is kind of unfortunate is that the ground combat in Star Trek Online really isn't that good.
Yeah, it's a little clunky.
Yeah, it's a little clunky. It's a little it's not as well done as the space combat is.
Yeah, I was when they because the same people are doing Neverwinter, and they did Champions Online, which also feels just a little clunky to me in movement and stuff. So I was worried about that when they were doing Neverwinter, but they seem to have gotten over that.
Yeah, Neverwinter's combat feels really good from the bits of it that I played. I need to get into it again for this weekend because they finally added a character that isn't a quick striker. So I'm looking forward to seeing if that one feels very different from the characters that they've had in already. So
it was just a concern of mine, but they they got over it. I'm wondering if they can kind of apply that to this ground combat without doing too much to the game, but my
Yeah,
instinct says it would require a lot of work.
yeah, probably. So that was actually what happened was we got here, we hacked the console and started transmitting data to our ship, based on the stuff that Starfleet Intelligence sent us here. Clearly, this Klingon base probably doesn't have that much to do with Undines, so there's something else going on here. But we'll but a lot of Klingon ships are coming, so we should probably get out of here.
Yeah, probably. Get back to our ships. We should make things go like us.
We should make ourselves go.
Should make ourselves go.
So that was the end of that mission. So we can just hail Starfleet and report in, get ourselves some bonuses.
Stuff.
And there is another mission, but we won't do that now. In fact, instead, I mentioned this in a previous update, but to end off this week's video, would you stop offering that to me? I've already said no. My goodness. Okay.
Did someone invite you to a fleet?
No, the Admiral just kept popping up the next mission saying, hey, I really want you to go do this. Come on. Please go.
Hey, listen.
Hey. So, okay. At various level tiers, Star Trek Online has... this is basically a public quest, as other games use the term. Starbase 24 is basically the tutorial to it. And it is actually just over here as well. We don't have to go to Starbase 24 to enter it, but we'll just fly over there.
Sure.
Because it's just over here.
Yeah, I think Guild Wars kind of uses, or Guild Wars 2 used that a bit. I remember hearing.
Yeah, there's a bunch of games that have a similar idea. Champions Online has them.
Yeah.
The Warhammer MMO had them. Rift has a similar thing. It's becoming more popular in MMOs, and hopefully the two of us. Okay. Here we go.
Accept
orders.
So
the way they've changed it is there's now actually a queue to this. It used to be that you would enter this instance area and you would just sort of enter either a mission that's ongoing, or you would sort of hang around at the entry point until the next time it resets and starts again. But now there's actually a queue, and it will gather a bunch of people for the mission, generate a new instance for it, and toss everyone into it. So I've queued us.
Now we just have to hope it doesn't take 3 hours.
And now we just gotta hope that it will actually let us in. Because it needs a minimum of 10 people in order to actually run. I'll let it sit here for a little bit, because if it doesn't proc in a few minutes, then we will just not bother doing it today.
Yeah.
That's one. Well, I mean, I could do a private queue for just the two of us, but
the two of us couldn't do it.
Yeah, the two of us couldn't do it. It really is. This mission is designed for 20 people, but 10 people can complete it. So
I'm assuming it scales.
It does in fact actually scale. So it scales basically between the various level ranks. So like there is one set of it for like level 1 to 10, another set for level 10 to 20, and so on. It looks like the level that we are right now, it will only allow 10 people, 5 to 10 people in it, but higher levels can go right up to 20.
So it's
And
kind of
this
like
is
an instance.
it is very much like a mini dungeon, so to speak. Um, the scenarios in the newest WoW expansion are also similar in how they're set up,
Hmm.
especially with the way that these work now, as opposed to the way they used to work. The way they used to work was straight up just like public quests in the Warhammer game or in Champions Online. But now that they are queued for and they are a separate instance that are generated, like a dungeon or a scenario is
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more closer to how to describe them.
Well, hopefully more people show up.
Yeah, no, like I said, let it. I'll just wait a little bit longer, see if we do get enough
Yeah.
people.
Well, I
Um,
tend to notice people. It's weird. Some games you'll see tons of people wanting to do the first, big thing like that. Other games will just
yeah,
nobody will.
and another thing about it is that Starbase 24 is the simplest of all of them, and as a result, it tends to be the most popular because it is straight up just a simple battle encounter. There's
Yeah.
only one. The next one that we can do is also a pretty simple battle encounter that has only a few wrinkles to it. All the rest of them have some pretty serious twists on how they work, and as a result, they're really kind of a pain.
Yeah. Like like things where you have to use a specific ability at a certain time or.
Oh, there is like one of the max level ones actually requires you to herd, uh, basically space cows around the map. That one's really annoying.
Hmm.
Um, and then the ground ones are just generally bad, but a lot of that is just because the ground combat is terrible.
Yeah, very, like I said, clunky.
Yeah, and the problem is that because the ground ones are designed for like 20 people, like they are just flooded with enemies, and
Yeah.
if you happen to be getting into them at a time when there wasn't 20 players, like they're just terrible to try and fight through. Like it is just so bad. Which is one thing that's nice about the queues. It's kind of guarantees that if you do manage to get into one, you're going to get into one that has enough people. But at the same time, it also means that you can't just join one and then overpower it.
Yeah. Now, here's a question. Actually, can we, now that we're queued, can we go do other stuff if we wanted to, or do we have to like actually sit here?
Oh no! Now that we're queued, we could actually go and do another mission or something else, just as
Yeah.
long as it isn't another queued piece of content.
Right.
So if we wanted to go and do, say, the next level, or go and do some of the random nebula missions, we could totally do that while we were waiting for this to proc.
Yeah. Though for this, since you're recording, it'd probably be kind of weird to stop what we were doing in the middle of it.
Yeah, and like the next thing we would do would be fairly intensive anyway,
Yeah.
and like this video is already a little on the long side.
Yeah.
Although, as of the moment I am speaking right now, it is kind of short compared to the rest of the videos in this series.
Oh. Well, we'll see how long it goes for.
Yeah. 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 Speaking of how long things are going for, just this week, Cryptic has actually announced the next expansion. Well, I guess technically first expansion for Star Trek Online.
Yeah.
Which
First
will
thing they're
be
calling an expansion, at least.
yeah, the first thing they're calling an expansion because they used to call the major patches seasons, which were basically major patches in the same sense that WoW had major patches for it as well, the major content patches. So this is the first time that they are releasing something that they claim is large enough to be a full-on expansion, and it is actually going to be free. Coming out on the 23rd of May, as I recall.
So 2 months from tomorrow.
Yeah. So the big thing about this expansion is that it is adding Romulans as a playable faction. Oh, and here we go.
Oh.
we'll be able to very quickly
Engage.
do this fleet action before we head out. So it is adding Romulans as a playable faction with content for levels 1 through 50. So you'll be able to start a new character, fresh start as a Romulan, and play. Like, you won't even have to play as a Federation character a little bit. You can just straight up start as a Romulan and level to max with its own full set of ships. But on top of that, they are also adding full level 1 to 50 content for the Klingon faction. So at the same time, you can also choose to not play as a Federation character at all and play the entire length of the game as a Klingon.
So your Let's Play just got 3 times longer.
My Let's Play just got 3 times longer because I'm going to have to go through the stuff as all 3 factions now. Well, not all of it.
Probably not exactly, because a lot of the middle stuff is going to be.
Yeah, a lot of the middle content is going to be cross-faction stuff. Well, not necessarily middle content, but there's going to be content that is going to be shared between all 3. Cryptic has stated in the past that while they still want to and intend to make content for each faction specifically, they have also said that they are finding the most bang for the buck by having content that is faction agnostic.
Yeah. Well, plus, I know later on you get into fighting the Borg and, the Dominion, and those are things that all 3 factions would be kind of eager to go against.
Yeah, there's once we get into the real storylines of the game.
By the way, spoilers: you fight the Borg in this game.
You fight them in the tutorial, so it's not really that much of a spoiler.
True.
So since we just got into this this mission, the crux of this fleet action, what Cryptic calls their public quests, is that a fairly large Klingon fleet is attacking this Starbase, which is not doing too well, and we are driving them back. The public quests are multi-phase missions, and each phase has a variety of tasks that you need to complete in it. So the first phase here is we just need to destroy 50 Klingon ships. Once we finish this one, then I think we have to defeat a number of their escorts, and then after that, I think this one is only 2 phases now, because this one was reworked a little bit, but not so much as the remastered episodes. Just that when they moved the missions over to queues, they redid some of the fleet actions to make them flow a little better in that fashion.
Yeah, so far we're there comes that neat greed thing. I just greeted because I have no idea.
Well, resilient shield arrays are pretty good. I prefer using them myself, just because I like the fact that they have the lowered bleed-through damage, which is something I covered a little bit in a previous video. But basically, all shields have some damage go through them. It's generally 10%. But resilient shield arrays reduce that to 5% go through and 5% just get straight up negated.
Pretty handy.
Yeah, that's very handy. But the other types of shields that you can wear have various benefits for them as well. Like the covariant style has just straight up tons of pure shield strength, as opposed compared to all the other types of shields, which can be handy for various purposes. Like 10% of damage bleeding through the shields is not that big of a deal in a lot of the content, but what you need more is just straight up tougher shields. So as a result, covariants tend to be the preferable shield type. So because these missions are public quests, there is actually a little bit of a competition going on. Each fleet action has a variety of rankings on various things, but pretty much it's ranking based on what the objectives are and how well or how much of them you completed, and then at the end of it, the people at the top of the rankings get special rewards.
I would be surprised if I got that high. A couple of these other
No.
people seem to be chewing through these things pretty quickly.
Yeah, so we're almost done the first phase here.
I have destroyed 20 Klingon ships. Total, so...
Hey!
Not in this mission, otherwise I'd be doing...
You'd be doing pretty well, yeah. Because you just had the accolade pop up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's now dogpiling on this one.
The last cruiser.
Yeah, well, there's still a bunch more. Oh. Okay, so now we need to defeat 20 battleships. That's what the next phase was.
Yep.
And suddenly all these ones just came out of nowhere, and a whole bunch of them are beaming me.
You okay?
I'll be okay. I should get out of their way, though.
I have no ability to heal a ship, so... I should say a ship other than my own.
Yeah, because I don't either. Not at this level. Oh dear. Oh well. Yeah, I was just in a bad position.
I'm in a bad position too.
Yeah, everyone was in a bad position.
Except Gearfu.
So thankfully, being defeated in Star Trek Online is not a big deal.
No, I don't even think this game really does like equip repair, does it?
It doesn't have equipment damage, but if you're playing on higher difficulty levels, there is a mechanic of injuries, and injuries can apply to your ship, which will decrease your stats unless you get them repaired. But I generally play on normal, so it doesn't matter. So in this case, when it's talking about Klingon battleships, it is basically talking about these Negvar warships.
Yeah. And two of them just left.
Oh dear. Oh, okay. Well
They
then.
rage quit.
Yeah, well, thankfully those were just guys that were in our party. If we look over to the side, there's actually some other players that have joined, but they are in a different party.
That's good.
Thankfully.
I'm assuming other people can drop in.
Yeah, this... it used to be a lot easier when the map was just its own map and its own instance, but now that it's basically a straight up queued instance, it is still possible for other players to join in, and matchmaking will try to toss people in, but for the most part you sort of need to look and join manually. So it's a little bit of a pain, but
Yeah.
hey. So, now that we've got a bunch of people here and we're not stuck in the middle of the enemy fleet as it spawns right on top of us,
Yeah, that's a bit
we're
handier.
making better progress. But yeah, because the objectives of each mission is not strictly not always just strictly destroy all the enemy ships. The measurements they use to determine the final rankings is a little bit more complex than just how much damage did you do, how many enemies did you destroy, things like that. And Cryptic has not released what these values are because they don't want people to try and game the system. No, which is certainly fair enough.
Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't stop people from trying anyway.
Oh yeah, I mean, and you could probably, I mean, it's fairly obvious for the most part that you know, if you are completing the objectives of the mission, you are probably gaining points towards its ranking.
Yeah, I'm just continuing to agree because at this point, like early on, you're going to be leveling decently fast enough to where what you're using isn't. It's going to get replaced pretty quickly.
Yeah, at this point in the game, yeah, there's very little reason to do anything other than greed because your gear will get replaced pretty quickly, and for the most part, a lot of the stuff, like at this level, most players won't even know what they want to do with their ships, let alone are starting to actually gear towards them. So there's no need to worry about it.
And you know, I'm not going to PvP or anything, so.
Yeah, the PvP in this game is kind of rough, but I know that Cryptic has been working on making it better and more overall balanced, and hopefully having like a whole nother faction to go into that will also probably make the matches, if not more balanced, then will make there be more matches, because then they'll be able to have more people to actually fight against. Because right now, like, you literally have to want to PvP, and even though there's a setup for same faction on same faction matches, I would say that the PvPing community may not be that big as things currently stand. But a lot of the guys that PvP in this game are very dedicated to it, and you know, it's very good on them.
Yeah. It generally tends to be how it is, because, you know, like, I can't speak for WoW because I haven't played WoW in about 3 years, but in Old Republic PvPing, I would see the same people fairly consistently.
Yeah, it's my personal experience with games that have had PvP and PvE aspects has tended to be that players who want to PvP really want to PvP, and they're very vocal about it.
Yeah.
And you know, they are very much into that whole aspect. Like, the same thing is even true in Lord of the Rings Online. The guys who dedicate themselves to playing on the monster side there for the PvP, they are very dedicated to the whole thing, and they are very vocal about it on the community forums. And I think that's really cool.
In some ways, yes. In other ways, it can get...
Yeah.
Well, it's the
thankfully,
internet, so.
the stuff that I have seen for Lord of the Rings Online has been pretty on the positive side, at least. Alright, just a few more of these warships and then we'll be done.
8 more. Of course, you know, when you actually think about this, essentially the Klingons are losing 70 ships to, what, between
10?
5 and 10 Federation ships?
Yeah. Just don't think about the logistics too much, because it's a little on the nonsense side.
On the other hand, it is a very Klingon thing to throw stuff at a wall and wait till it breaks, rather than use the door.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that a lot of these missions are can the space combat missions can easily end with your one ship having destroyed 20 enemy vessels in single combat. And it's kind of obvious that there's a little bit of nonsense in the whole thing.
Oh yeah, it's true about like any video game, honestly.
Yeah, pretty much. So as a result, like, I'm not that bothered by it in an effective sense, because, like, yeah, it's a video game. That's kind of what I expect. Even if, it's a little nonsense from a lore perspective.
Let's see. 4 more.
4 more.
They seem to go down pretty fast once we get a couple people concentrating on them.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, as I mentioned, these missions are designed to be done by a group of people. That's why there's such a massive swarm of enemies.
Let's see.
Okay.
I've actually completely lost track of where you are, but...
yeah, I'm above you.
Damn third dimension.
Yep. Well, what are you gonna do about it?
Actually, one interesting thing about this game is you can't actually go straight up.
Yeah, like, that's been something that a lot of people have been very vocal about on the forums. Like, they are really kind of upset that you can't go straight up, even though it's sort of been shown that some ships can. And Cryptic has said that it's not an engine limitation, but it is a design intent, because while some ships in the IP have shown to be doing things like that, most combat is more of the graceful tall ship style.
Yeah.
So they very intentionally chose not to support that sort of movement.
Plus, from a gameplay perspective, not being able to just go completely in 3 dimensions makes it kind of easier for most people to know where to go, essentially.
Yeah.
Like Ender's Game made a point of a lot of people can't think in 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. Like this, I think that a lot of people would not really understand. Would get the space combat a lot less if they had complete control instead of needing to spiral up and down.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that was the end of the one, and I ended up getting 2nd place.
Woohoo!
So
I don't know where I got.
Yeah, you probably got something.
Something, not 2nd place.
Yeah, like it'll actually specifically call out for 2nd and 3rd on the reward box. Like, it will say in the reward box what rank you got if you're within the top 3. Because there is actually an unlock for your ship for certain rankings. And just for playing, you get some dilithium ore, which is a time sync currency in the game, and then depending on your ranking, you get a item. Like, for me, I got this very rare console. You probably got something that's in a...
I got phaser cannons.
Oh, nice.
Which I might use them. They're 180 degree arc, so...
They're probably better than the phasers you're currently using.
Yeah.
Oh, and then it kicked you out of the party for some reason. Whatever.
Probably because we'd gone into the queue.
Yeah, and then we left it. That's fine, though, because that's going to be it for today's video.
Yep.
Did I actually? I actually got a few things from that. As well. Huh.
Yeah, I think I got some of the random loot drops.
Yeah,
which I will go through at some point. And...
Yeah, I'll go through that later.
You got crap.
Yeah.
Use it.
Yeah, it's an MMO. There's loot drops. I mean, it goes along with the territory. But anyway, yep. So that's it for this week's episode. Um, thank you all for watching, and we hope to see you all next time.
Bye, everybody.